Hi everyone, it's Heidi with Downtown NorCal Live. Today I am Zooming to Winters and I'm going to be interviewing the owners of Patio 29. And just one moment, there they are. This is Eric and Jeff Boone. They are the family owners of Patio 29, as I mentioned. Welcome.
Thanks, Heidi.
Yes, nice to be here.
Wanted to get started by just having an opportunity to learn about your business plan pre-COVID.
Well, our business plan started 6 years ago with the family on the patio having a meal and cocktails, and we had been a family that's entrepreneurial and artistic, and we had talked about a family business. And I think your older brother talked about beer. I think that was the first conversation, and I looked at that. And, yeah, the craft brewing industry is pretty saturated. There's quite a few producers out there. And so we decided we wanted to make, vodka, gin, whiskey, and rum instead. And so from that point on, it was just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other and taking money out of accounts and putting them in other accounts, and looking for a few friends and family investors that were going to come along with us, and started this great journey. And our goal is to make artisan, high quality, super premium spirits with local raw materials, with local produce from this area. And the other part of this was that we love good food and good drink, and this family has been that way for a long time. And so we really saw this as just as kind of a lifestyle brand, really promoting having a good time with friends and family, with good food and good drink, and we wanted to be part of that. And so that was the whole concept. So Eric, he's in charge of the tasting room, and we want to provide a great experience for those customers that come in here and taste our products, and and have some food and come here with friends and family. And so far, I think our Yelp numbers are pretty good, aren't they?
Pretty good. So don't jinx it, but yeah, so far so good.
So you've been operating, or you were operating as of, you said August of 2019, and then the pandemic hits just a handful of months later. So what did you do to adjust?
You got a comment about that?
Yeah, so pandemic kind of shuts everything down in March, which at that point, really felt like us as a business were really just getting the ball rolling. So it was, kind of, scary along with everybody else. But what we quickly pivoted to doing was producing hand sanitizer. What happened with the pandemic when it first happened, those first shutdowns happened, was the major suppliers got completely overrun and could not keep up with the demand. So what craft distillers, they essentially had access to the raw materials that were needed to make hand sanitizer. So they were given the opportunity to produce it for their communities. And that's kind of what we shifted our business plan to doing, was making hand sanitizer.
One of my other hats is a commissioner for First Five YOLO, and our executive director described your move as quick and decisive. And in fact, you are credited with supporting critical infrastructure, including the Yolo County Children's Alliance, Communicare, Rise Incorporated, and the Yolo Crisis Nursery for their essential needs for hand sanitizer. So on behalf of our community, thank you for doing that. I know it was not a small investment. Since then, it's been interesting to watch some recent news from the FDA and a potential assessment that you might have had to incur. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So the news came out about this assessment, and of course, some major news outlets picked it up, and certainly the distillery industry, all over the blogs, that it was it was raging. The fee was going to come from the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and the Food and Drug Administration oversees typical hand sanitizer production, which is it's a pharmaceutical. But they had approved this emergency order for distilleries to be able to make that product, because, as Eric pointed out, we have most of the raw materials. We had to buy a few more things, but we have the primary raw material to make it. It just required this special allowance. So I think as of yesterday, I read communications from HHS, that agency oversees FDA, that the director of that agency has communicated that that was a mistake, that fee was a mistake, and since been rescinded. So that's the latest communication we have on that. And that we're thankful for that, because that would be a big hit to us if we had to pay that fee.
Then I'm going to ask all of our viewers to just stand by if there's a need to advocate on your behalf. I'm going to be encouraging our viewers to contact Congressman Garamendi and other resources. Let's move on then. The demand for hand sanitizer has diminished as the regular producers have picked that up. And so what is the status of your business now?
So we've currently, as of December of last year, we kind of stopped doing hand sanitizer since it's readily available now, and moved back into spirits, which was the original plan. So as far as our business right now, we're open for retail and to-go bottle sales and that sort of thing. Just kind of getting back into the swing of, making spirits and all that.
And you can ship anywhere in California under COVID, is that correct?
Yeah, currently, so distilleries are restricted to 3 bottles per person per day in sales. And so we can ship the same. We can either deliver or ship the same amount that a customer could buy on site. And those are temporary rules that were put in place by ABC, the Alcoholic Beverage Commission. And as far as we can tell, they're open until we hear otherwise, until the pandemic is, and orders are reduced and we have the ability to operate again. So that's helpful. That's helpful for us, and it has generated some, a little bit of needed sales and revenue. So. Okay.
And you mentioned before we started recording that your products are also available at the Davis Food Co-op and some of them at Westlake Market.
Westlake Market, and eventually here soon will be in Nugget Markets.
Okay. And then you also discussed before we were recording that you had some contracts that were set to go forward in other states, and that is all stalled.
Correct. Yes, those agreements to distribute our spirits products in the Midwest, Texas, and Florida were all about ready to be executed, and then all of those distributors had to put their plans on hold because their business was seeing a drop due to the close down of restaurants and bars and other types of businesses that buy alcohol. So the good news is none of them said, "Don't call me back." They said, hopefully things will open up after the end, the end of the year, and we can get back to this again. So,
how hard is it to be a small business in the time of a pandemic?
Pretty tough. Especially, part of the thing is a craft distillery with the tasting rooms. A lot of our business relies on tourism. And, during a pandemic, people are drinking more, or however they're buying the stuff off the shelves that they're used to drinking, and not necessarily willing to risk, however many dollars on a bottle of spirit that they haven't really necessarily tried. So a lot of business for us and, the tasting rooms and stuff here in town do require that customer interaction, telling our story, having them sample our spirits, and then leaving with a bottle. That's kind of what our experience was meant to be, and it's pretty tough to do, during a pandemic. So that part's been tough, and it's working out ways around that. It's been tough.
Just kind of been a holding pattern. I will add, so in my bill-paying job, I'm the CEO of a company that's headquarters in Davis, California, called California Statewide Certified Development Company. And we make small business loans throughout California, Nevada, and Arizona. So I've been in the small business advocacy space for almost 2 decades. And, we're not alone. I mean, there are so many small businesses that, you know, they survive on very thin margins as it is, especially restaurants and bars. And they have just not been able to generate, they can't really operate at 50% or 25% or anything less than 100% capacity without help. And there hasn't really been enough financial help for these businesses. You know, we're fortunate in some regards that we, as a startup, we don't have the full load of employees and a full load of costs that we might otherwise have. So although we're losing money and we can't sustain this forever, you know, we're a small enough operation right now that, you know, we can weather the storm. Boy, I really feel for a lot of these small businesses out there, these, you know, dedicated, hardworking, family-owned restaurants, bars, salons, gyms, and of course, you know, the families with school children too. I mean, these are just devastating times for them, and you know, so I feel for them. But
Yeah.
we'll be fine. We'll be bruised and battered, but we'll come out of it, and you know, and have to just work a little harder to make up for the, you know, for the lost time. So.
Yeah. You know, Eric, I appreciate you making the point about people, you know, not potentially willing to try something new, and yet many people are trying to travel. Many people want to have a new experience. So why not try a local spirit? I mean, really, that is a great way to travel in your mind in your home. One last question. You're potentially expanding, if you get through the pandemic, into food service. So what's hopeful in the future?
So Anita's mother, who I've been married to for almost 40 years, told me early on, knowing that I was an entrepreneur, that I could do most anything I wanted to, except if I want to open a restaurant, I'd be doing it with what's left over from the divorce settlement. So yeah, it's a running joke. So it's taken her a while to warm up to, you know, you add a lot of complexity to your operation when you bring in food service. So we're going to keep it a limited menu and keep it simple. But we've recognized, and Eric's gotten this feedback from customers that have come in, that, you know, their experience would be more pleasurable if they, you know, they had a menu of food, and they. So we're going to do that. That allows us to do some things too, where we can increase the size and the number of different cocktails and drinks that we can provide. So give everybody a more true on-premise, you know, pub experience, if you will. And the whole idea with that is, you know, the better the customer experience, hopefully the better reflection it is on our brand and our products. And so that's that whole concept.
Okay. Well, I've been talking with the owners of Patio 29 in Winters, and I encourage everyone to head out there, pick up some spirits, or you can go to the Davis Food Co-op, Westlake Market in West Davis, and soon the Nugget. Thanks both for joining me.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you very much.